What a crew we have here today. We are excited to get started and want to thank everybody for coming. We all appreciate your presence. Thank you to the members of the media that have attended this press conference. Today we are announcing a rollout of a very exciting package of bills and a resolution all around water in the Great Lakes state. My name is Yusuf Rappi. I'm the state representative from the 53rd District in the city of Ann Arbor. I also serve as Democratic floor leader in the Michigan House of Representatives. And today the bill that I will be introducing as part of this package is around public trust. In the state of Michigan, unfortunately, we do not protect our groundwater the same way that we protect our surface water. And as we've seen time and time again, between corporations coming into the state of Michigan to steal our water and polluters who have destroyed our groundwater resources, what we've seen is that we do need more protection for the groundwater in our state. By applying the public trust doctrine to our groundwater, we are saying that we care about our groundwater just as much as we care about our surface water. And ultimately, what we mean by this is that we care about our lives, because water is what flows through us. Water is who we are. It is who we are as Michiganders, and it is who we are as humans. And when we can protect our groundwater the same as we protect our surface water, we are protecting our water and we are protecting ourselves. There are a number of other bills in this package, and as I said, a resolution as well. And to speak to those other bills, my colleagues are here today to address their legislation. So to start off, I will turn the mic over to Representative Hood to talk about her bill. Rep. Hood?
Thank you, Rep. Robbie. It's an honor to be part of this bill package. And frankly, these are bills and initiatives that I've worked on since before coming to the legislature in the environmental advocacy space. I am sponsoring the bill that focuses on closing the bottled water diversion loophole. So currently, our laws define consumptive use as anything including a container of 5 or 7 gallons or 20 liters or less. So this would essentially eliminate that portion of the definition and ensure that we are valuing our water appropriately and not allowing it to leave the state. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm the shorty of the group, everybody. Good morning. Thank you all for being here. I'm Representative Lori Bohutsky, and I represent the 19th House District, the majority of the city of Livonia. I am proud to be reintroducing this crucial package of bills, and with the addition of the resolution, I think it'll be even more impactful. It's aimed at protecting one of Michigan's most precious natural resources, our water. Communities all across our state, including my own community of Livonia, have been put at risk from groundwater contamination. People have to question whether or not their water is safe to drink, or if they can safely eat food grown in their own backyards. Meanwhile, corporations like Nestle, now Blue Triton, steal millions of gallons of water, fresh water every single year, only to sell it back to us at extortionate rates. This is unconscionable in a state that prides itself on its wealth of fresh water. My bill in this package would empower the Michigan Department of Natural Resources to manage water, both surface and groundwater, in the areas under its supervision. Restricting the DNR's authority to the conservation of waterfowl and fisheries, while important, but it prevents them from being an important partner in the fight to protect our water. It's only appropriate that the department that is tasked with managing the state's natural resources should also be entrusted with our most precious resource of all, water. And I want to be very clear on this point. Water is not precious because of its monetary value. Despite what some of these corporations might have you believe, our water is not a commodity. Michigan's wealth of fresh water is vital to our culture, our economy, and our very survival. It's only fitting that in the Great Lakes state, we be able to guarantee Michiganders access to clean, fresh water for generations to come. And that's exactly what we're seeking to do with this bill package. Thank you, and I'm going to turn it over to Representative Kupa.
Thank you, Representative Bohutsky, and thank you to everyone who's here here in front of me, but also every single one of the partners that we have here today. I want to talk about the importance of a commemorative resolution that I've introduced. I'm the representative from Troy and Clawson, the 41st District in Michigan, but I'm also an immigrant. And World Water Day means so much to me. When I was 15, my parents moved our family back to India. They'd come here for graduate school. And the first thing I realized was you couldn't open your tap and get a glass of water. And how that eliminates so much efficiency in your life, and how water is a human right, and it should be. I came to Michigan in 1998 to work in the auto industry. I came for the cars, but I stayed for the Great Lakes. And to me, our Great Lakes are one of the things that makes Michigan great. And if we don't protect our groundwater, we don't protect our Great Lakes, and we don't protect our drinking water and make sure it's accessible to everyone, we are not doing justice as lawmakers, as individuals in Michigan. So this is a resolution that seeks to get everyone in the legislature to embrace the importance of water, not just for Michigan, but around the world. And I'm really excited to be part of this effort with my colleagues and with all of you. I'm going to turn it over to Nicole from the People's Water Board.
Good morning. My name is Nicole Hill, and I am an organizer with the People's Water Board Coalition. And I want to thank Representatives Robbie, Hood, Pohutsky, and Koopa for having us here today to speak about this important bill packet. We know that water is not a commodity. It's a human right. And the United Nations has already explicitly confirmed that this is a fact. Water status is the most fundamental human right and should be affordable for all Michiganders. And yet, in the wealthiest country in the world, people are denied the human right, to water on a daily basis. I can personally attest to this as my story coming up here displaced from Hurricane Katrina. I came up here to try to rebuild my life in a city where I knew a little bit about it. I knew how to get around, and I found myself smack dab in the middle of one of the most massive water shutoff campaigns that the city of Detroit has ever perpetrated. And I fell right back into an issue of the fact that I was living without a vital resource. The COVID-19 pandemic has emphasized the importance of public control and ownership of our water. I mean, especially in the early days of the pandemic when the water shutoffs were still going on, we also saw a higher infection rate and higher death rates, and we must not forget that lesson that we learned from that. The bills being introduced today will help to ensure that water remains and is correctly understood as a public resource that we all have a right to access to and a duty to protect. There is a long way for us to go to ensure that all people have access to safe, clean, affordable drinking water, and that vision of water justice will become much closer to a reality once we affirm through these bills that both groundwater and surface water belong to the public, and the public's water is not a commodity to be bought or sold for private financial gain. The People's Water Board Coalition stands strongly with this and urges the legislature to pass this crucial, important legislation. Thank you.
Very well said. Thank you so much to Nicole Hill from the People's Water Board. And next, we do have a pre-recorded video from Liz Kirkwood from Flow. And so I will turn it over to the screen in just a second.
Greetings. I'm Liz Kirkwood, Executive Director of the nonprofit For Love of Water, a Great Lakes Water Law and Policy Center based in Traverse City, Michigan. I'm speaking from the shores of Lake Michigan today to elevate the voice and spirit of these magnificent freshwaters. As the leader of a nonprofit organization dedicated to upholding the public trust, I am delighted to express strong support for the water protection bills being introduced in Lansing today. This 3-bill package and resolution will shore up public trust protections for the Great Lakes and groundwater against water bottling companies thirsting for profits and strengthen safeguards for waterways on state land. The Great Lakes must never be for sale, and Michigan's groundwater must never become privatized and siphoned away. We must protect every arc of the water cycle for the benefit of the public today and for generations to come. The legislation introduced by Michigan Representatives Robbie, Pohutsky, Hood, and Koupa will close the legal loophole in the Great Lakes Compact that currently allows private interests and international regimes to take Great Lakes water as long as it is extracted in containers of 5.7 gallons or less. The Great Lakes belong to all of us, and these bills aim to keep it that way. The legislation also would explicitly apply public trust protections to groundwater, which supplies drinking water to 45% of Michiganders, recharges the Great Lakes, and sustains wetlands, stream ecology, and cold water fisheries. The bills will direct the Department of Natural Resources to be strong public trustees of the lands and water it manages. Without these legal protections firmly in place, we face the very real danger that our most valuable natural resource, these fresh waters that define our state, are treated like a commodity, like oil for sale to the highest bidder. We commend Representatives Robbie, Pohutsky, Hood, and Koupa for upholding their duty as trustees of our natural resources under public trust law. We ask all lawmakers to support these bills to keep Michigan's freshwater public and protected. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you to Liz Kirkwood from the shores of the Great Lakes, from Flow. And next we have Andrea Pierce, who is the chairwoman and co-founder of the Anishinaabe Caucus. Andrea?
Thank you, everybody. Mito Kajab, Wasnadekwe Indigenous Cause, Wakanaka Singodawa Nadao. I am Andrea Pierce. I am currently living in Ypsilanti, Michigan. And I just want to say that the Anishinaabe people represent and respect the water as a source of life. These bills recognize that water is an inseparable part of all of us. The people of Michigan cannot be holy and healthy while our water is being sold off or polluted. And under Snyder's administration, 80,000 Michigan public comments were ignored, which allowed our water to be stolen by Nestle. And that was just a disgusting shame that should never have happened. And I hope that these bills that are being introduced will be supported and made into laws, because that's what needs to happen. We need to protect our water. Water is not a resource. Water is a sacred being, and we need to treat it as such. We are nothing without water. My people have been saying water is life. Do you know how long we will live without water? Any ideas here? I mean, it's part of us. We come from water. We are part of water. We cannot let our water be bought and sold. So I want to commend these people, these representatives that have introduced these bills, most of them again, because this is not the first time, and they need to be passed. So our legislators need to stand up and protect us and protect our water. Miigwech, thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Really appreciate you for being here. Next, we have Sean McBurdy from Clean Water Action. Sean?
Thank you, Representative Robbie. Good morning, everybody. I'm Sean McBurdy, Michigan Legislative and Policy Director for Clean Water Action, representing over 135,000 Michigan residents who understand that we have to do more and do better to protect our water. I want to start by thanking Representatives Pohutsky, Hood, Robbie, and Koupa for their leadership on water issues in general and these issues specifically that we're talking about today. The bill package being introduced today is critical to ensure the protection of our water now and for future generations to come. Water is the foundation of life on Earth, but today large corporations and private equity firms are taking this life-giving resource, putting it in a bottle, and calling it a product. Elsewhere in the country, we see water futures being traded on markets as if our water were nothing more than another commodity. We see climate-induced drought gripping the west coast of the United States more firmly with each passing year. And in Michigan, we have a duty to protect nearly 21% of the world's fresh water. If we continue down the road of allowing our water to be taken and sold for profit, we will come to a time when water is only available to those who can afford it. Giving the DNR greater authority to protect our water is key to ensuring that the state has the tools they need to effectively steward our greatest public resource. Eliminating the water bottling loophole to the Great Lakes Compact is crucial to ensuring that all of our water remains public. And affirming in statute what we already know from basic science, that surface water and groundwater are part of the same hydrologic system. They are connected is critically important to guarding against attempts to privatize and commodify our water. Our greatest weapon against the commodification of our water is the public trust doctrine. The public trust doctrine ensures that water belongs to the people. It ensures that our water is not a commodity to be owned and controlled by the few, but a right for all people by virtue of our humanity. This means that not only do all people have a right of access to safe, clean, and affordable water, but this also means that we all share a duty to protect the water for our shared use and for the future of our planet as a whole. In recent months, more than 7,000 Clean Water Action members have written to their lawmakers across the state calling for this legislation. And today, Clean Water Action organizers are here to deliver some of those letters to House representatives and senators, calling on them to act on their duty to protect our water by supporting the immediate passage of these bills. And to sum up, it's being St. Patrick's Day, I figured I'd end with a quote from President Kennedy. And the last time Russia was as big a threat as it is today, when President Kennedy pointed out that in the greatest final analysis, we all breathe the same air, we all cherish our children's futures, and we are all mortal, and we all drink the same water on top of that. So we need to take action on these bills and get them through the legislature to make sure we can protect the Great Lakes for today and for the future. Thank you very much.
All right, we have had a very powerful group of speakers here today, and I want to thank everyone who's attended and spoken, those of you who are attending to support these pieces of legislation. We are at a critical moment, and yes, we have introduced these bills in the past, and we will continue to push this legislation forward as long as it takes. We're not going to give up, and we know that we're up against some powerful folks who want to profit from our groundwater because they're making a lot of money. They're making a lot of money off of you and I by extracting our groundwater, by selling it back to us. And we can do better as a state. We can do better, and we will do better when we all join forces to get these pieces of legislation passed.